Hey there, listeners. This is Everything's Finally Ruined, podcast about cool things that people enjoy doing, such as collecting frogs and psilocybin. With me today, as always, is Hassan.
That's me, all right.
Yeah. And also, I gotta say that this is gonna be a fun, adventure-filled episode full of facts, knowledge, and interesting things. And also... Look. Sun up in the sky.
Tristan, have you been touching frogs and or ingesting psilocybin?
No, but I think I see a bird. Or possibly it could be a plane.
Both of those do exist in the sky, yes.
Actually, here's the secret, Hassan. I'm pretty sure that's Superman.
What?
Up in the sky.
What's a Superman?
Oh, guy in blue underwear that flies around. Blue and red underwear, flies around with a cape. Saving people. Maybe a menace to our society because aliens and immigration policies.
We're going to need you to pee in the cup again. We're gonna have to test you.
What I got, you ain't get a test for.
Pretty sure you've either been licking toads and or ingesting psilocybin again.
I mean, and or.
Do not do those together. That cannot go well.
Or can it? Perhaps I should do more psilocybin and lick more toads.
I guess that depends on what your end goal is here.
Exactly. My end goal is to be like our buddy Superman. But unfortunately I can't do that, so toad licking it is.
Look, just don't lick local toads, because those aren't going to get you high, but they'll possibly get you sick.
Yeah, local toads are very poisonous. It's true. Yeah, that is actually a true fact. I do know somebody who knows a lot about local toad populations here in Nova Scotia, and ours
you're
are
still a psilocybin dealer. I'm not surprised.
He's like, I gotta try. I gotta try some shit. Nope, not this one. Nope, not that one. One of these toads, damn it.
Oh, no.
Well, Hassan, what are we here to talk about today? Because I've had my fun. And as far as I can tell, it's probably something to do with psilocybin and toad licking. So.
Actually,
the intro is just like that. Sometimes the intro is connected like that.
Neither of those things involved in what we're talking about today, because we're here to talk about Season 2 of My Adventures with Superman. A show that I continue to deeply, deeply enjoy and love. So I think before we get into talking specifics and details, I will just say part of this is conjecture, but a little bit of table dressing. So season 1 of Superman, 10 episodes, aired from July 7th of 2023 to September 1st, 2023. Season 2 started May of 2024.
Yep, sure did.
This is the part where it's conjecture. I don't think that this was actually season 2. I'm pretty sure this was the case of something that studios have become somewhat notorious for when it comes to animation, that they will order a specific chunk of episodes. Officially, on their end, it's all one, I won't call it season, but it's one block, one order of episodes.
Yeah, sure.
That are subject to one specific like contractual agreement, so things like bonuses, certain residuals, all that stuff, it's all grouped together into this one thing. But they will then split that up and call it multiple seasons. And there are some things in this episode that certainly make it feel that way, but also just that turnaround, right? September to May, less than a year to get a full new season out.
Suspicious that.
Yeah.
I wonder what's going on there.
Yeah. And so I'll say, so recently it did have a panel. They being the showrunners as well as some of the stars, the voice actors of it at San Diego Comic-Con. They confirmed that like season 3 already got greenlit in March, I think it was, and that they've already been starting work on it. And I think they even said that they hope it'll be out kind of late next year. And that feels a little bit more realistic to sit here and go, oh, okay, yeah, like say a year and a half to get out the next season seems plausible. Again, a lot of it's conjecture, but I think when you look at a lot of how season 2 is and a lot of those timings, this gets called season 2. I don't think it's a true season 2. I think
likely not.
I think it was. Hey, they ordered 20 episodes. They were told to chunk it up into 2 seasons. I think it's why kind of the way that this ends is very much in a way of like, hey, this ends in such a way that if it was the end of the whole thing, would sort of make sense and be a little bit satisfactory.
It definitely has like the fact that you told me that there was a season 3. I was like, oh. This felt like the final season of the show.
Yeah, it very much has kind of this feeling of, hey, actually, I think that this was all planned together and that DC's doing. But none of that detracts from this, I will say.
Yes.
I think this season is fantastic, so.
It's really good.
Getting into it, so season 1, it's a lot of it is Clark coming to terms with being Superman, learning about his powers, starting his and establishing his relationship with Lois, etc. We get into season 2. Superman is a beloved hero of the city. He has an established relationship with Lois. Things mostly seem to be going well for him, so of course we have to introduce some tension, some drama.
Well, it can't be Shakespearean otherwise.
I like this. I don't know. I'd call it Shakespearean. But,
I would actually,
look, Steve Lombard in the final episode, Shakespearean. Okay, died at that part. We'll get to it, but. And so this is another part where I like season 2 a lot. I actually think I mostly like season 1 a little bit more, primarily because I think the overall pacing in season 1 is slightly better because of the fact that season 1 feels like it has a little bit more time to breathe because it's establishing things. It has the opportunities to focus on building things up, whereas season 2, kind of going back to what I was saying, where it feels like season 2 was, hey, this was all ordered as 20 episodes, and this section, well, we don't know for certain. We're going to get more, so we need to make sure that we can sort of potentially tackle everything we would not necessarily ever want in this show, but that we at least have to seed some of those things into it. So, for example, it's the second episode, Adventures with My Girlfriend, where we start to get sort of these hints that there's maybe a little bit of tension with Superman. And, hey, you had Waller, you had I forget his name, but Lois's father, General Lane.
Yep.
They obviously didn't like Superman. They obviously distrusted him, but throughout season 2, you start to see just a little bit more of that. And even in season 1, there's a little bit of it with Lex. But of course, he's going to hate Superman. But
Oh, yeah.
that stuff just kind of just happens too quickly for me, that the city goes from Superman, he's our hero, we love him, to immediately into, oh no, there's a lot of powerful people who don't trust Superman, concerned. And those concerns are completely fair and
Usually
understandable,
yep.
right? It's that thing that's always a little bit difficult when you are, the audience. You get to see things and understand things I mean,
we know Superman will never harm anybody.
Yeah.
But the people in the show...
If you and I lived in that world, we don't know that. Like, what do we see?
It's like,
a handful of Superman interviews, and that's it. Really, that's all we know about the guy.
There's two ways to look at Superman. I just want to like posit my like take on this kind of aspect of Superman, because this is like an old hat thing. And I'll put this out there. There are two ways of looking at Superman. Either you see him as, and I'm going to say this, and it's everybody has used this to death. He is kind of like your Jesus figure. He comes down, saves us all. He's awesome. We all love him. He's great. He's shooting beams out of his eyes for the sake of mankind. Great. Cool. Thanks, Superman. Or you see him as a walking nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
Only two ways to see that kind of thing.
You're talking. I saw the Zack Snyder Superman films. I don't see any of the Jesus allegory you're talking about.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think there was any of that with Superman.
Did I just watch Passion of the Christ instead?
Could be, yeah.
Fuck. Man.
I can't believe
Mel
those
Gibson!
movies. He literally has a part where Superman's just doing the... Yeah. Oh my God, Zack Snyder. You suck.
He's such a hokey-ass director.
Yeah. But getting back to my point.
Yes.
Season 2, more than season 1, feels like it needs what would have previously been called filler episodes. I don't really want to call it that, because I think, A, that's a dirty word for a lot of people, and B, I think that got misused a lot over time, where... Now that we are in this, not to belabor this point, we've talked about a lot on other shows, but now that we are in this era of, TV shows only get 8 to 10 episodes, people just toss around the term filler episode anytime there isn't an episode that is massively, pushing forward the main plot and progressing the world.
Yeah,
and
I miss filler episodes.
That feels like that's missing here, where I fully understand society turning against Superman. But, for example, Hank Henshaw, who gets introduced in the first episode of this season. For anybody who doesn't know, Hank Henshaw is the man who in the comics becomes Cyborg Superman, a literal cyborg who looks and dresses like Superman but is a villain. His turn from seemingly being, helpful to Lois, seems like a nice guy, to, say, right-wing MAGA allegory to a certain extent. It's just
sort of, yeah.
And we don't see enough of Superman causing problems. Like, if this season had even been, I think, 16 episodes, and you had 2 or 3 episodes earlier on where, Superman's going to fight
Muhammad Ali.
Woof. No,
he did.
Who could Superman fight that isn't like, a doomsday level villain, but who could cause a lot of, destruction in the city kind of thing, where, hey, it's understandable that after this event, people might be apprehensive about Superman. They might say, no, like, he fought this person. Look at what it did to the city. And so it just feels like in season 2, it just need a little bit more of that. Or even the the Lois and Superman relationship in this season, it felt like it needed more episodes of just them actually doing relationship stuff. There's not a whole lot of that here. There's almost too much main plot stuff happening to progress it. Full Metal Scientist kind of feels like the only episode that has much of them just being in a relationship without main plot stuff or without too much friction of what's happening between them.
I can see that.
And so I wish there was a little bit more of that. And also then I think later on when basically Lois has to go into Clark's psyche and sort of rescue him from Brainiac's mind control, that felt, it was one episode that just felt a little bit too quick. It felt like it needed, say, at least one full episode of Superman kind of going off and doing bad guy stuff. Then I would argue like 2 episodes of Lois in there trying to rescue him. Let
I agree with that.
Breathe out a little bit more. Let it focus more on their relationships throughout it. And none of this to say it's a bad season. No. It's just so much condensed into it.
Here's the thing. I think what you're touching on is like, so this show, obviously, it's got a lot of like anime tropiness to it. And I feel like it's not quite grasping what an anime would do, which is what you said, is like it stretches it a little bit longer, make it mean a little more, so when Superman does break into the mind control, you know, it's like, yeah, finally he's out. Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, you know, make that feel like it had more impact. Like there are, you know, hey, Superman has really suffered as a result of this. Not, it's like two hours also, he was mind controlled?
Something like that, know? Yeah.
That sucks, but...
It's also... It's okay. So that episode, which I can't remember what the episode is titled here.
Which one? The one where Lois is in his brain?
Yes.
That's the Pierce the Heavens Superman, the episode that's a reference to Tengen Toppa Gurren.
Yeah, obviously. You don't say when they fucking punch through the fucking ceiling and...
my God.
Which I'm like, they're doing...
We were just talking about an episode called Full Metal Scientist.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Anyway.
God damn it.
They reference a lot of anime, but they don't quite get there. So, but the thing is, though, what this episode also is, because this is based, you know, they use Brainiac uses the Dark Heart to control Superman's mind and all this stuff. And what this episode really is referencing back to one of the best episodes of the Justice League Unlimited TV show, which is For the Man Who Has Everything.
Which one's that?
That's when Superman has the Dark Heart attached to him during his birthday, and his mind is now back in Krypton. Krypton survived. He's living his normal life. He has a loving family, a dog. He's got everything, and he sees a glimpse of what could have been if everything had gone well, and then like Wonder Woman pulls the Dark Heart off his chest, and Superman is in such agonizing anger. He's just like crying and punching Parasite in the face. And it's just like, ooh. And he just has this little dark Batman moment of like, he might go a little too far. And it's just like, but he stops himself.
Yeah. In that episode, I think that having it be one episode is fine. I think here it just needed more time to breathe.
But like, the thing is that one episode, it feels like it feels like a longer running story. You know how like if you have a really well paced episode of a show, it feels a bit longer, but in a good way. Like you've got a lot out of it.
I think the main difference there is just like the consequences of it.
Yeah, sure, yeah, of course.
Different, right? Because here the consequences of Clark being controlled.
Yeah.
We see that with Kara, where we know what Brainiac is actually trying to do. I think that's what's missing here. Is Superman needed to go off and attack other planets. We needed to see Brainiac actually use him so that there was real weight to his
see Brainiac.
controlled.
Yeah, I want to see Brainiac basically use him to a point where like he's almost destroying planets. He doesn't get quite that far, but he really can, and it takes Kara like every little bit of power to take him down each time, because we all know that Superman is stronger than Supergirl. Just a general statement, because like he's got. I know. Okay. He's been in the yellow sun much longer.
Whatever you say, JD Vance. I get it.
Wow, that's okay. Come on.
No, you think that they're just crazy cat women, right?
No, it's not. No, nobody thinks like JD Vance. Jesus Christ!
I gotta tell you. I don't even think he does. Pretty sure it's all straight.
I'm pretty sure. Anyway,
I do quickly.
He's stronger.
I do quickly want like slightly off tangent thing before we get back onto things. I will say, so one thing about this show, season 1 did it, and season 2 I've noticed continues it, is, and maybe it's the anime stylings, maybe it's because, generally speaking, outside of the films, which don't real live action films, so the Zack Snyder / Justice League films, we haven't really had anything delving into some of the more obscure, you might call it, parts of Superman sort of lore and that. Just in terms of, there's been some of the animated movies. Justice League Action, I think, was out in 2018. But in terms of something being bigger and popular, where I think this is,
right.
One thing I still notice, it draws in a lot of people who don't seem to know anything about Superman from the comics, but will still be very staunch in their opinion in just these insane ways where, for example, something I've repeatedly seen on multiple social media sites is people who who will be like, no, I don't know if Darkseid's a part of this. It's like they literally show what they call Omega beams. They literally showed those.
I mean, Brainiac is using the
Apocalypse at one point.
Yeah. Like Brainiac is using the Omega Sanction straight up. Like, they're doing this like in like crooked angles and shit. It's like that's the Omega Sanction.
Well, there's literally a scene where Jor-El is talking to Clark about how, we found an enemy too powerful even for the Kryptonite Empire.
Yeah,
and that's where you see
Apocalypse.
them getting wiped out by Omega beams.
Yeah, it's Darkseid.
It just
like
drives me insane just seeing some people like just say things or comment. Like season 1, when there was the character Alex, and they only ever called him Alex. Like, no, it's very clearly Lex Luthor. People are like, I don't know why you think that. There's nothing that proves that. You're like, no,
it's very clear.
There's
Lex Luthor,
so many nods that is clearly Lex Luthor. And then when that happened,
Alex Luthor is Lex Luthor.
Just
Alexander.
There are other things that have like happened throughout this, and it is just.
He's even got the same hair as the one from the Crisis on Infinite Earths, Alexander Luthor. What the hell is wrong with you people?
It drives me. It's like seeing it where it's like, look, I am all for new fans getting into this, but man, some of you people just need to
go
read a wiki is all I can say. I don't know.
Read a wiki, maybe read a couple comics if you're interested.
But getting into that.
Watch the JLU show.
Full Metal Scientist. I was pretty shocked when they brought in Silas Stone.
Yeah.
Steel.
Yeah.
I was just like,
No, hold on. Silas Stone is on Steel. John Henry is Steel.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry, yes.
Silas Stone's an interesting pick, though. I like that.
That one was quite interesting. But
when
they brought in Steel, I was like, Steel? Oh, man. I know that season 1 had some obscure characters like Intergang, but man, Steel is just not a character anyone cares about. If you go poll
I will point this
1,000 comic readers on their 10 favorite superheroes, I don't think a single one of them is going to say Steel.
I agree.
I think people dislike him. Yeah. It's just he's such a character that I feel like no one ever thinks about.
Sure, I agree with that. The thing is, though, I think that season 2 is basically setting up, hey, let's just do a little bit of the super family here, right here.
Oh,
we have Supergirl, but to kind of just run it a little bit, we got to have the fun uncle, which is John Henry.
Can we get a Grunkle instead?
He's kind of a Grunkle already.
He is not a Grunkle.
It's true. I guess that would be Jor-El, or not. Yeah, Jor-El would be the Grunkle in that case, I guess.
Nah.
No, that wouldn't be Jor-El. That'd be fuck, what's his name? There is actually a Grunkle. It might be Zod. I think Zod could be the Grunkle.
Bizarro might be Grunkle.
Bizarro. Hey, where are we gonna get a Bizarro?
Buddy, I would lose it.
We already got Mistlepick. We already got Mistlepick. Like what? Let's go a little crazy with it. Bizarro Superman in this show. What is that?
So season 3 definitely peppered in tons of those little things, right? We mentioned Hank Henshaw. We got Atomic Skull, as well as I forget the other dude who got the superpowers that was all like hulked up.
That's the thing. Atomic Skull is one thing. Hank Henshaw, Cyborg Superman's not really a well-known character, but whatever. But that guy, I'm still drawing a blank. I feel
Damage.
It's Damage. Damage. Yes. Of course it's Damage. Okay. That makes more sense. I was kind of like, are they going to take this guy and sort of mutate him into Doomsday or something? Because he's kind of a Doomsday-ish look, but not.
I hope they
he's
don't
not
do
that
Doomsday.
far. Oh, they'll do Doomsday. You know they will. Look, he's the one guy who killed Superman. They're going to do Doomsday to ratchet up the romantic tension there. Come on, it's gonna happen.
But we also get Metallo robots. We get.
I don't like that they call them Metallo robots. I don't know.
Of
course they made it metal.
I didn't think they were great Metallos. But I also think in a world where
I like they had the nuclear chest. They had the nuclear bomb inside them, which is cool. That is Metallo's thing. But still, just I do wish
we get the briefest appearance of Toyman, which I didn't think they were going to call him Toyman. When they go in there and I saw the puppet and I was like, oh, that's a nice nod to Toyman. And then they just called him Toyman. I was like, oh, okay, that's great.
I think I missed that. Where was that?
So that's episode 4, Two Lanes Diverge. So it's when Sam Lane, he runs into the store and there's the old man where he's like, you can get me out, whatever. And he literally shouts Toy Maker, you betrayed me.
Oh, that was okay. I missed that little bit. Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense because it says don't touch the bear and then it explodes. That makes a hell of a lot of sense.
Dummy Doll is what I recognize. It's it's nice Toy Maker nod, but then he just calls him. I was like, that's sweet. Gotham Gazette comes up, Silver St. Cloud, all these sorts of nice.
Vicky Vale.
Vicky Vale can go screw herself. I hate her.
Trying
to take Lois Lane away from Clark. How dare she? Not acceptable.
She's not trying to take her from Clark. She's just trying to give her a job.
Before we get into there are a bunch of other ones. I do just quickly want to mention, though, before we get into kind of the two big new characters that I really like. Look, maybe an unpopular opinion. I really liked what they did with Thanagar, which is just destroy the planet and wipe them all out. Suck it, Hawkman and Hawkgirl. I've never cared for you. You both suck.
I gotta say, okay, here's the thing. That doesn't mean Hawkgirl and Hawkman can't exist because their whole origin is reincarnation. It's a whole thing with Thanagar.
No, I get it. I like to see Thanagar destroyed because Thanagar sucks.
Thanagar's been dead for a long, long time. Don't worry, Hassan. You got your wish. Rand won that war.
Yeah.
For the most part. Yeah. So I saw that. I was like, oh, is that a Hawk person? Oh, it is a Hawk person. It's a Thanagarian. Oh, oh no! They destroyed. No, okay.
Actually, before we get into those characters, I'll say, like, them dropping all these things, it does. The show's obviously popular. I don't think, though, that this show is popular enough to sort of end up creating like a JLU scenario. So even though it's dropping all these hints, I don't think any of that is going to end up leading towards an
They'll
actual...
just sprinkle a little few things here or there into the show. It's not going to be a big...
Especially because like one of the things I think a lot of people forget about the JLU cartoon was that it had 3 cartoons that built up to it. There was the Superman cartoon. I forget what that was actually called.
Superman. Just Superman.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. And then there was a Flash cartoon, just called The Flash, I believe. And then, obviously, Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah.
And all 3 of those built up to it. And so that's the thing is, I'll see people talk about, like, oh, this could lead into JLU. It's like, I don't...
It really can't. No.
I don't think you can just jump from this directly into JLU. I think you need other things. And I don't know how well... going off and doing a season of a Batman show and then a season of, say, a Wonder Woman show and then going to the JLU. I just don't see that happening.
No. So here's the other thing. 2 things, actually. So the new Batman show is Batman Cape Crusader is coming out really soon, and it's in Bruce Timm's style, who's the showrunner. So Bruce Timm, it's in the old style of the Batman animated series, not in the Studio Mirror style. So first off, there's no meshing there. Second off, My Adventures with Superman is so much about Superman and Lois Lane that this is not going to spin off into a bigger thing. It honestly, I don't even want it to. Like, we already had the JLU. It's a fine show on its own. It's great. I love it. And, like, we don't need another one of those, really.
I think for me, I wouldn't mind, say, if this show got, say, like, 5 seasons. If, say, the 5th season,
sure,
there was a a Justice League, and, you know, half the episodes involve Superman teaming up with them or Justice League doing stuff.
Why not?
But, yeah, I am with you. The idea of taking these characters and then sort of subtracting the Lois and Clark focal point of it all, would be just subtracting so much from it. And
the other thing is, okay, My Adventures with Superman is really, really good. However, I am always cautious with this show because there are a few moves the show makes that I'm kind of like, oh, Young Justice kind of did that in the first season, and then we know what happened later on.
It became your favorite cartoon, so why are you apprehensive?
I wonder why. I wonder, I'm just kind of like, you know, if you can toe the line.
Oh, you're worried it can't live up to Young Justice. I get you.
Sure, in a sense, in a matter of speaking, yes. It can toe the line, but if you cross that line, there's no going back. So, I'm just saying, there are a few things in this show that they change up to do their own thing, and that's cool. I'm fine with it. But again, if you cross too far and too fast, you can't go back and redo it. So,
okay, Tristan. So, there's this comic series called Flashpoint.
Oh no!
You can absolutely go back and redo it. Don't worry.
I hate Flashpoint so much. Oh, speaking of Flashpoint, actually, what I found interesting, this actually ties into Flashpoint a little bit. What I found interesting is that the Kara. You okay?
I'm trying to think of how anything in this is going to lead into Flashpoint. I'm racking my brain of like.
The Kara L they used is the one from the New 52 reboot back in like 2011.
Oh, that's okay.
Like
right.
Same hair and everything, and it's just like they just didn't do it as a reboot thing. It's just like they used that story, which I thought was a really good Supergirl story.
That's actually where I want to go next. So one of our 2 big new characters, Kara Zor-El, is here, Superman's cousin.
Yeah,
I really, really like their
this is a good
interpretation
Supergirl.
Of Kara.
I like Supergirl in general, so like big fan.
Supergirl is one where I've always liked her, but I've never felt that, or I shouldn't say never, but very rarely have I felt like she's been done the justice that she deserves compared to somebody like Wonder Woman, where, you know, strong female character that can kind of rival Superman.
Yep.
Supergirl kind of always gets undermined as being, well, no, she's Supergirl. She's weaker than Superman. You know, she never gets to stand on her own. She's the sort of Vegeta to Goku in a way that
we can go that far, but yeah, sure, I guess so.
Well, what I mean is like, oh, you know,
what you mean.
Yeah, she's strong, yeah, she's powerful, but at the end of the day, you know, when it's a dark side, when it's a Doomsday, whoever, she's never going to beat them, but Superman will, kind of thing. Exactly. And so, and even this show kind of does that a little bit, but actually at the very end doesn't, which I appreciate.
Yeah. But by the end of it, they have equal power. I like that
also,
a lot.
She's literally dressed like Android 18, another fantastic anime nod. Really appreciate that.
She is. She really is, isn't she?
She
Holy
is literally
crap.
an homage
I didn't get
to
that,
Android
but you're
18.
right.
Yes. I mean, it was like,
no pearl
I know
necklace,
that
though.
attire. I was like, that's so 80s. I
fuck,
love
that's
it.
good. Oh, man. I missed that.
So, and one of the things I really
Does that make Jimmy Olsen like our Krillin? It's not short enough. Yeah, it sort of is.
He is. I hadn't thought
He is the fun human buddy to our much more powerful.
Yeah.
Fuck. Superman is just Goku, I guess. So yeah, fair enough.
But one thing I really like, that they did with her, is they give her an alien way of speaking without it being annoying and unusual. So
they very much
used. I'll call out Starfire from the animated shows, where Starfire speaks in the way where she constantly says things that upset the Tristan.
I'm fine. Okay, I'm fine when I'm watching that. When I'm watching the Teen Titans cartoon from the 2000s, I'm fine with the way she speaks in that. But when I think about it, it's just like, why'd they do that?
It's
it
works,
something that
but it's
kind of
not
annoying.
Just that show does, but so often, you know, E.T. phone, how, you know, alien have to talk in alien way.
John Jones doesn't do it.
No. Well,
wonder why.
You know, he used mind reading powers, though, right?
He also spent like 40 years watching nothing but detective series, so technically he sounds like an old detective noir guy the entire time. If you ever read a comic with like John Jones in it,
I wanted their version of John Jones. Oh, he'd be so good in this.
Whenever you see John Jones speaking on panel, it should say like, see. You see when I got him, he got him with a silver bullet, huh?
They would do that, which is why I want him in this.
Yeah, they should. Every other live action or cartoon version has gotten them wrong, technically.
It'd be so good. But with her, with Kara in this, it's mostly, they just give her slightly odd inflections on things. Jimmy Flamebird.
Jimmy Flamebird, president of the planet.
I love the way she says Jimmy Flamebird.
Jimmy Flamebird.
Them making Jimmy and Kara in a relationship, if you had, even after...
I'm into it.
That's the thing, is I really like them. If you told me end of season 1, season 2 will have Jimmy and Supergirl in a relationship, I'm not, it sounds terrible. And it's because of my head, even when I think about this show, when I hear the words Jimmy Olsen, I am stuck with just the classic, oh, golly gee, Superman, it's me, your bestest bud and biggest fan, Jimmy Olsen. Oh, boy, I just love being in the Boy Scouts and helping people out.
I will say this Jimmy Olsen is, again, it toes that line of like being just kind of that, but never really ever stepping into that territory. He does say, they do say Jimmy Olsen, Superman's best pal, multiple times. But it never gets to the degree of like, oh, gee golly, Jilly Willikers, Superman, save me again today. Here's my watch that calls you down. Which I do like that watch, but still.
This Jimmy is better than any other Jimmy that's existed.
It's a really good Jimmy.
But yeah, I think the two of them and their relationship, it was super fun to watch. I'll be interested to see what a season 3 does with them, because season 2 definitely ends on that note of like, well, we never officially said they're in a relationship, so you know, is season 3 going to be a bunch of will they, won't they? Are we just going to skip that and get straight into it? So we'll see on that. I think they did a very interesting thing with Supergirl, with the whole her thinking Brainiac is her father and brainwashing, coming to terms with her evil deeds, etc. That was a good character arc.
Yeah, it was good.
And I think that brings us into our other big reinterpretation of a character, which is Brainiac. I'll say I don't think that this is a great Brainiac, but I do really like the character.
Yeah, they keep changing things. Okay, they keep changing things up to make tech more angular and that kind of stuff. So the look isn't there. The personality basically is.
I think it's very different from normal Brainiac, where this one just feels so like a corrupted computer program, where it talks about, well, they were going to have peace and I am a war, mine. Yeah. So of course I just had to destroy the Empire so they wouldn't put me down.
Yeah.
He seems, psychotic in a lot of ways. And I really like that, the way that he, comes across as an abusive and manipulative father.
Yeah, me too.
A very different version of Brainiac, who, in most situations, he is cold, machine-like, unemotional. To change that up, I really liked that character, that interpretation of him. Thought he was a very good antagonist for what his goals were.
So I'm curious if Josie Campbell, showrunner of the show, I wonder if she had any insight as to what was going to happen in the this year in Superman comics, which was that Brainiac is going to reveal he has a daughter, and it's kind of like this. It's pretty close. It's not exact, but it's pretty close.
As I generally understand things, no, I don't.
I assume not. Yeah.
So what they were when My Adventures with Superman was first concepted, it was very much you need to be sort of over here, separated from everything else that's going on with Superman, because
of course
you had the whole James Gunn working on a live action. You obviously have the comics, and I don't know on the comic side how interconnected, but part of their initial mandate was, when they started the show, you basically have to just kind of use the more obscure parts of Superman villains, lores, characters. Obviously, you can have Lois Lane. Obviously, you can have Perry, right? You got to have those things for Superman. He has to be at the I can't believe I'm blanking on the newspaper, the Daily Planet.
Daily Planet, yeah.
But they were basically told, initially, hey, you can't have your dark side. You can't have Lex Luthor's, which is why in the first season he's only called Alex. After season 1, or as I understand it, as they started to see these episodes in pre-production stuff, they basically go, hey, this Alex, is it supposed to be Lex? And they just go, that depends. Is he allowed to be Lex? And
yeah.
All right, let's go think about this. And with the popularity of the show, they basically were allowed to access bigger character. It's why Brainiac is here in season 2, etc. Yeah. So I would think that probably they didn't know that was going to happen, because they were basically told, hey, go off, do your own thing. You're not kind of supposed to be
for sure
touching mainline Superman in a way. We don't want this in any way to tie into that, and people to sort because there's the whole James Gunn wants to create his version of the DCU so that everything is connected. Even the video games will be part of the movies. It'll be part blah blah blah. So like this thing, basically their mandate was, hey, what you do, people cannot mistake this for being part of this, DCU.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Cool. Okay. So there's that. That makes a lot of sense. So, yeah, it is pretty close to what's happening in the comics with like Brainiac's daughter and stuff like that. But that is interesting. So the way that the thing with the thing I do say about Brainiac is that I do like the look for the most part. So I do like a robot in a cape. So that's pretty good.
Yeah,
loving that. I do just wish that this was a different robot and not Brainiac. Because like I like the way the Brainiac looks, like the kind of like the Lex Luthor kind of look to him with bald head with the 3 circles in the triangle kind of thing, and his ship is lacking in giant skull and tentacles. I just gotta say,
that's because this is Kandor, which I do appreciate that nod.
Yeah, me too. It's not in a bottle though, so
no. There's actually I forget the comic artist, but something that stuck with me was it was artists in sort of the 80s where they were the ones that basically got rid of Kandor, and they talked about how we got rid of it because when we grew up with stuff in the 50s, 60s, 70s, we just got sick and tired of it. We're like, enough of this Kandor, get rid of it. And then 10 years later, talking to artists in the 90s, like, I wish Kandor was still around because I'd love to do this story, have this idea, and they realized like, for us, we were sick of it, so we wanted to permanently get rid of it. But for these people who grew up on our comics, because it was just gone, it was this one story and then forever gone.
Yeah,
it wasn't overused, and so I did appreciate that little nod to it. Exactly. You don't get much of Kandor anymore because of that. But yeah, like I said, I don't think that this is a great Brainiac, but I still think it's a great character, good story.
I agree.
Fantastic. I need to look it up, but I think that is the standout voice acting of probably the entire series so far.
Yeah, I will say this is going to get very awkward when
Michael Emerson.
I will say it's going to get very awkward when Brainiac 5 and Kara Zor-El fall in love together. When she's eventually whisked away to join the Legion of Superheroes.
Right, yeah. I was about to say it's Brainiac 9, but he's Brainiac 5, a 9th level intellect. Yeah. Somehow I don't think that's going to happen in this.
No, I could.
They break up Jimmy and Kara for that. Oh, I'll be so angry.
No, they won't do that. That would be a dumb fucking plot line. Tone that line.
Let Kara and Jimmy go on picnic dates with Monsieur Mala and the Brain. I love that scene when Jimmy's when Lois is like, wait, you're still in contact? I thought you guys left for another dimension. We did, but then the other dimensions were not so good. So we came back and we'd like to meet up with Jimmy in the park for picnics. Like that is, I love that idea of just Jimmy Olsen in a park with a giant gorilla and a brain in a
robot suit.
Weird robot suit. Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
I also think I love the line, "Love is not for cowards."
That's a good fucking line.
It's a
really good line, though.
Stupid line that works so well in this. Also,
told you it was Shakespearean.
Livewire and Heatwave in a relationship in the way that they just keep going. Heatwave just keeps going, "Aw, babe."
Yeah, "Aw, babe."
Did not see that coming, but that works super well.
And
them just showing up and doing that, there's probably a word for I feel like I have seen this trope a lot, this idea of, the hero needs to go vertically, and so all of these other people are going to assist them. So Livewire and Heatwave just blowing up these Metallos as the rocket is taking off, and that's when they give the line, "Live is not for cowards."
Yeah. It's as if they really enjoyed The Final Fantasy VII movie.
That's literally what I was thinking. Is that scene where they're all just throwing Cloud up,
which is a good scene. Just
yes,
chuck that guy into the heavens.
That movie is so, but the action in it, so good.
Yeah. Man.
But there's a ton of just moments like that throughout this show that I just go, man, these are just such fun, dumb, when like Lois telling Monsieur Malat and the Brain, just don't touch the ship, just don't do anything, and then they show up and it's got giant robot arms on it. And, oh, you scamps! Of course you do that.
And some modifications. No. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But this so anime.
Very
Lois,
anime.
Clark just telling Lois like, well, in my mind, you're the strongest person there is. So she just also has Superman powers, and they literally just punch their way out of this dome. It's I said before about the first season, second season still has it. So indulgent.
Yes.
So giving you everything you would want and just letting you stew in it.
Yeah.
To the point that the way that this series ends, so Brainiac shows up on Earth. Initially, he's controlling Superman. Superman finally breaks out. They're fighting him. They sort of take him outside of the Earth's orbit, but then he's like, "Nope, too bad. I'm gonna destroy everything." So Clark and Kara go to the sun, absorb as much of his radiation as possible, and they basically go. Clark goes Super Saiyan Blue. Kara goes Super Saiyan Red. Oh, that is so good that they give them both these Super Saiyan like powers, which Clark kind of already had in the first season. We saw him get these sort of blue bursts of energy, but to give that to Kara, but she gets her own thing and gets to be the equal of Superman in that sense.
Yeah, exactly.
I would say when it comes to your dark sides, your Doomsday, even to a certain extent, oh my God, War Planet,
Mongol.
In my head, I just had Mong, and I was like, "It's not Mong."
You're close
his name is that dumb. Mongol.
Yeah, Ming the
those
Merciless.
characters. It's always Kara has to be. I cannot remember the name of the trope, but the fall character, the one who. Oh, in order for you to understand how powerful this villain is, and to show the superhero's true strength. We need this character to fail.
I can't remember what it's called now either. It's not. It's not fridging. It's something kind of like that. But it's when you fridge like a very powerful character to show how powerful the villain is.
Yes.
Yeah. That's why Goku
Kara
dies every time.
Vegeta.
And Goku.
Well, Goku dies, but Goku always wins. Vegeta is the fall character, right? He's the one who always has to fail.
Yeah.
So that you fully understand, this is how powerful this character is, that only Goku could do this.
Could you imagine if it was Krillin who was the fall guy? It's just like they showed me just like murder Krillin right away, and it's like, we don't really know if he's really strong or not.
For a lot of it,
it's true, I guess so. So we don't know if the guy's strong now.
Yeah, but this ending, Kara gets that equivalent power, and she's there side by side with Clark as they do this. She is his equal in every way. I'll say a little bit disappointed that they didn't keep her badass scar. I get it. She's
the scar is
Kryptonian.
good. Yeah,
it doesn't
heal fast.
Really make sense for her to have a scar. It's like, oh man, if we're gonna give just Kara this badass scar, that'd be sick.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. So should wrap it up. So season 2, love it. Things I would like to see out of season 3, just quickly. Again, more episodes. Not just this show, almost any show. Can we please go back to 20+ episode seasons, Hollywood and the greater media entities?
Yeah.
Not everything needs to be a short miniseries.
Nope.
Give this thing space to breathe. We didn't touch on it too much. the Lois Clark relationship in this season. I didn't hate it.
It was very melodramatic.
Yeah, very melodramatic. I season 3, I would like to see more just Clark and Lois having a stable relationship and getting to
That'd be nice,
lovey-dovey.
Yeah,
yeah.
I do want to see like the New Adventures of Superman style Lois and Clark, like Lois and Clark, the TV show with Dean Cain. Like that was a good relationship.
Yes.
Everything else kind of sucked, but the relationship was solid. I do want to see them reach that level.
Yeah.
Omit Dean Cain, though.
Look, if we're going to call it specific things, please put in that comic panel where their kid accidentally finds the outfit that Clark had when he was on War World, and Lois just had to go, don't look at that. That's just...
the Scooby Mankini thing?
Yeah. Like, oh no, they do BDSM roleplay, huh?
Yeah, look at that. Yeah.
Do that scene, goddammit.
Yeah.
Ruin it for the kids, you know?
Ruin it for the kids.
But
we say here in the show.
So there are some things that we know are going to be in this episode. They teased some of it at San Diego Comic-Con. So Con L, a.k.a. Connor Kent, we know he's going to be there.
Sure. I'm down with that.
It seems like the alternate sort of universe stuff, the League of Loises, is probably going to come up a bit in season 3.
I do like the League of Loises, so
I do like that. And I do think I would like to see some of those storylines get some of the things that they have hinted at in season 1 and 2, have those actually just happen, I guess, for lack of a better term. Be more than just, hey, these were fun Easter eggs. Have them address these things, resolve some of these things, etc.
Yeah, sure.
I think I'd like to see some more iconic Superman villains who are not necessarily your big names, right? So, hey, we've hinted at Darkseid. Zod, it's obviously, not necessarily he'll obviously be there, but we know Zod to some extent has to have been a character if Kara is here. But I'd like to see, guys, again, Bizarro Superman or Solomon Grundy, I think could be fun. Characters that you can get a little bit goofier with them.
I don't know if they'll do fun. They did do Mr. Mystipex, so maybe they will do. So my thought process behind why they probably would not do Solomon Grundy is that they seem to be more tech focused than Superman's villains, but they did do Mr. Pixelplex, so there's a chance. I mean, he's a magic little space elf. So,
you're right. They are definitely more.
Yeah. More
science
grand,
focused,
more science,
magic. We haven't seen any of that.
But again, Mr. Mixoplex, so maybe.
Yeah, but he's kind of god powers. So
he's your. What's the term for him? The Star Trek Next Generation. Your Q. There we go.
Q. Yes.
Yeah.
But I think the other thing I'd like to see is, even though we were saying, hey, I don't think this should lead into a JLU, I wouldn't mind getting to see the odd other superhero show up. Hey, even if it's only one episode, I'd love to see their interpretation of a Batman, or again, just give us a John Jones, but make him a
the noir
classic
voice.
Detective guy. It would be so good, and have him eat Oreos. Yep. I get it. Oreos are licensed. DC can't really say it easily, but
Hydrox, why not? License it Hydrox.
It's so annoying that he doesn't eat Oreos that much anymore.
Yeah, see, I gave him a lead coat and put him in the ocean, hey? Yeah, I'm gonna eat these Oreos now. You see, it's like that kid. If you see, look too far into the darkness, you start to see yourself, huh?
Also,
John Jones.
Lobo. I'm so or if they do Lobo, please do something different. I am so bored of every version of Lobo.
Yeah.
Just being the one from the JLU.
Yeah.
I've never seen a different animated version of Lobo.
I will say that's kind of the best Lobo gets is that version.
Yeah. But also, we never see different versions of him. So rarely do you ever see anybody try and reinterpret that character into something else.
Yeah.
Like, if you do it, please have him be something different.
That'd be nice.
Just, Robo, tough guy.
They could bring in Lobo's daughter.
I forgot he had a daughter.
Yeah, Crush.
I forget. She spelled with a K or a C.
I can't recall, to be honest. I didn't read much about Crush.
I cannot remember how edgy they made her if they went we spelt it a different way.
I think it was a C, but I can't remember now. Yeah, I mean, like, either way, she's pretty edgy. Like, the point is she's Lobo's daughter, and she hates...
It is a C. Okay,
yeah.
Yes.
And she hates being Lobo's daughter. But she's not really his daughter, but she is. It's a whole thing.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah. She's like the last actual Zarnarian. That's all. Yeah, whatever. But not really. It gets confusing. Crush is weird.
Crushes get confusing?
Crush,
no.
like, specifically Crush, I don't know what the fuck they're doing with Crush. That one got way out of anybody's league. Like, I don't think anybody who wrote that character knew what they were doing. But it's an option, I'm just saying. Yeah, so they could do Lobo.
Better than Lobo.
Yeah. I wouldn't say she's better than Lobo. She's different. She's a different take on Lobo style stuff. I wouldn't mind them doing...
Tristan doesn't want a woman in the show.
Well, I was going to say something about Power Girl, but again, you know.
I think Power Girl, they could do it. I have faith in them.
Yeah.
Feels like she'd be a little bit tough.
Yeah, a little bit different.
Especially the boob window, it just...
Look, they did it in the GLU cartoon, and that was a much younger Kara. Much younger.
Sure.
Way younger.
It just doesn't seem like boob window would fit it. I mean, we did get Superman boob window, so what am I saying? Actually, it would work.
We got Superman with his toes out in boob window, so like...
Yeah, for all you feet freaks out there.
Fuck, what was that? let's discuss that for 1 second. What the fuck was that?
Oh, you don't want to see Superman's feet?
Not really. No. I mean, I didn't...
Don't kink shame so much.
There's something about that was like very alien, so I kind of get it. But why would Brainiac not want to cover up his feet? I don't understand why he just get the toes out.
Oh, Brainiac's not allowed to have kinks now?
No, he's a robot.
And?
He said
robots can have preferences.
He's a rogue AI.
Yeah.
I guess he can have preferences. It's true. Yeah. I guess I shouldn't kink shame rogue
I'm
AI
sorry,
for their
people
feet
who commit
freakiness.
genocides of an entire race can't have their preferences?
You know, I guess they can.
Anyways, we should wrap up.
Yeah, I guess so.
Season 2, fantastic.
Yeah, it's good, yeah.
I'll say is Season 3, which I suspect is 3 and 4, but that, surprise, we're only going to announce that 4 gets approved partway through Season 3, even though we've definitely already worked on a bunch of that.
Yeah, we did half of it.
They ordered another chunk of episodes. Yeah. And
yep. Just how TV is done now, especially animation, so...
I think only animation that happens for it. Could be wrong. But...
No, they do it in live action, especially Netflix. Like Netflix does it that way too. Yeah,
awesome. But yes, everyone should watch the show. It's fantastic. Yep. So why don't you tell the people where to find us?
You can find us on Twitter, which is @EAFNAR. Go there and yell about us how much you enjoy Superman's feet. And then also go to our Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube, which is probably where you're watching this episode right now. Click a bunch of buttons. Just honestly, here's what I would do. Just take your mouse and then just basically like go up here, like here, over there. It's on Hassan's face, and just rapidly click on Hassan's face. See what happens. Yeah, just as fast as possible.
Just the worst that can happen.
I don't know. We'll find out.
The actual answer of it being YouTube is you probably end up somehow watching Andrew Tate. Not even exaggerating. It very often is only a couple clicks of YouTube's terrible algorithm to get you to right-wing garbage.
Mom, the funny internet man told me to rapidly click on this guy's face, and now I'm watching Andrew Tate videos. Yeah, probably. I don't know how it happens. Hey, algorithmic stuff. Yeah, go there, click the buttons, like, subscribe and stuff. Just like I said, mash shit until things happen for you. I approve of that message. You should also go to our friends over at DJDane.com. That's the guy that does our music, DJDane.com. Go there, listen to his great music, and I would just say, perhaps take him on a lovely little picnic date in the park.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to suggest something far worse, like send him to Krypton.
Yeah. I mean, you could. What if the picnic date in the park is in Kandor? The bottle city of Kandor.
Oh, okay. That's not so bad.
I mean, it's kind of bad. You're trapped there forever.
Yeah, but it's kind of utopia in there.
It is though. You're right. It is kind of a utopia. But they can't get out. Kandor's always kind of bothered me, to be honest. It's like they can't get out, but it's not bad in there. It's actually pretty good. It's like the last little bit of Krypton, but they don't want to come out, and they can't come out. People can go in and then come out, though. I don't know what the rules of Kandor are at all. The one piece of Superman lore, I'm just kind of like, somebody fucking put some actual rules on this, please.
Yeah, that's the part of Superman lore that's lacking rules.
That and Herbie. Yeah. Robot needs a power check.
God, you just hate robots.
That's right. Fuck them. Speaking of robots, tune in next week for our electro-negative episode of At Least Finally Ruined. See ya!
Say it.